Well, hey there, pharmacy owners. Dr. Lisa Faast here. And thank you to all of you who are new subscribers. We've gotten a lot of new subscribers recently. And I had two of you send in some questions that I think are applicable to many of you out there. Basically, the question said is, if they were to hire me, what would I work on their pharmacy first? It's, kind of think of the question a little bit of like, what do you work on first? What do you pay attention to first? And it is very easy to get distracted in our world of pharmacy, not because of all the dumpster fires that happen of our industry, but there's actually a lot of opportunity out there. There's a lot of things you can do, but it's a matter of like, should you do them? And if you do them, like, which order do you do them in? And so there's a lot of opportunity out there. We obviously cover a lot of those opportunities inside our membership Pharmacy Badass University. But I will tell you, it is no secret of what I focus on first. So when I start working with a new pharmacy, either I bought the pharmacy, they're like an inner circle member, which is like I'm a fractional CEO with their pharmacy. If you pay for a one-on-one consult with me, I always start at the basics, guys. Like, you have to have a strong foundation. And in pharmacy, the strong foundation comes to three numbers, three KPIs. That's it. In our complicated world, like, that's it. So what are those three KPIs? First, KPIs, if you're like, hey, I haven't heard that term before. KPI means key performance indicator. It's just a number that you calculate and you track for your business. Every industry has KPIs. Your personal health has KPIs. So if you want to equate it, like, how do you know you're healthy as a human being? What does the doctor always check? They check your weight, they check your blood pressure, they check your pulse, right? Those are the three critical KPIs for a human. If those are all in line, chances are you're probably pretty healthy. Now, it's not going to tell you if you have a tumor in your brain, right? But that's rare. So those three critical KPIs, if those are all green, chances are you're pretty healthy. If one of those are off, it means something's out of whack. If all three of them are off, like, you're a red alarm of fire and we need to like start working on this now, right? So same kind of thing in business and in most things in life, you'll find. So in pharmacy, those three critical KPIs are your inventory turns, which means how efficient do you manage your inventory? And that one's critical because your inventory is your biggest drain on cash, and cash flow is what kills pharmacies, right? As much as we all bitch about profit, cash flow is what kills pharmacies. So inventory turns, your payroll ratio, which means what percentage of your revenue goes towards all your payroll expenses for the people that keep the pharmacy running and generate the revenue. So payroll, the actual what you pay them, your taxes, payroll taxes, workers' comp insurance, if you provide benefits, all those kinds of things fall under payroll ratio. So keeping your payroll ratio in line means you're using your human investments to their maximum efficiency, which is obviously very important for creating a profitable business. You're getting your largest return on investment for that investment into human labor. Your third KPI is your expense ratio. So it's what percentage of your revenue goes to all of your expenses. And expenses are things like rent, your window washer cleaner, your property taxes, your payroll, your vials that you buy, like anything that is an expense, something that you pay for to operate your pharmacy. Now, your cost of goods sold, that means your inventory is not an expense, right? Like, it's getting a little financial here, but inventory is not an expense. It's just an exchange of assets. You're exchanging cash for a bottle that sits on your shelf. So your inventory, your wholesaler bill is not an operational expense, but anything that you pay for, obviously payroll, your electricity bill, your internet bill, those kinds of things, those are all your expenses that go into your expense ratio. If you get those three numbers to green, And I'll give you what my levels of green are. Your pharmacy is actually pretty good. You're already at the top of your class, right? Like most pharmacy owners do not have those in the green zone, and that's where you should start first. That's going to be the biggest bang for your buck. There's always optimization and improvement opportunities in a pharmacy. And I am a big believer on focusing on the things that are going to give you the largest return for that initial time. You do this long enough and good enough that eventually you're micro improving, right? Like you're looking for half percentage increases and you're micro improving to just maximize profit. But when you're first starting, you don't want to focus on the micro, guys. Like that's not where you want to. There's people that are like, oh, my payroll ratio is 11 and I want to get it to, 9. That is not the biggest return on your investment of time and energy into managing and operating your pharmacy. So 3 critical KPIs: inventory turns. Minimum, I'm looking for a minimum of 24. Better if you can get it to 30. It's actually not that much harder to go from 24 to 30, but 24, okay, that's the minimum, guys. For your payroll ratio, minimum of 11, okay, or I should say maximum of 11. You don't want it to be higher than 11%, even better if it's around 9%, right? And then your expense ratio is, you don't want it higher than 19%, right? Lower than 19% is going to be better. So if you land in those zones and they're all green, you're ready for like scaling, you're ready for diversification of revenue, you're ready for another location. I've seen so many pharmacy owners drown because they're running their own pharmacy and things are okay, right? Like they're okay. They're not actually like checking the data, but they're okay. And they think they can go open another location. And then within 6 months, they are decimated. And it's because the first pharmacy wasn't as healthy as they thought it was, because they didn't actually do the numbers. And they didn't realize how much they individually were inputting into making that operation run smoothly. And then they divert their attention to a second location and everything falls, right? So as much as I love a profitable, sexy new revenue stream, I'm not sure that anybody loves profit as much as I do in terms of new revenue streams. You have to make sure those 3 KPIs are good first, right? And if they're not good, you are actively working on it or deploying people to work on it. So obviously how big your team is, it might be, if you have a really small team, then maybe it's you that's working on those. If you have a large team, then it's okay to delegate and offload that to somebody else. Obviously, as long as you delegate properly, which is a lesson I have learned. Took a couple hits over the head on that one for me to learn. And but that's it. Like that's where I would start with you. So if you want my, $500 an hour advice on that, like you start with those 3 critical KPIs. I've got tons of free resources for you on like how to calculate those. You can go to our blogs. You can go download our KPI sheet from our website. Inside Pharmacy Badass University, those are the first things that I take members through, right? Like that is step 1 in our pharmacy profit matrix is reverse poor cash flow and low profits. How do you do that? The very first 3 things are those 3 KPIs. And we have step-by-step course that takes you exactly through exactly how to do it. You watch the course, you can follow the workbook. I handhold you through that process as much as physically possible and get those to green. And it's like a sigh of relief, right? It's like you're swimming out in the ocean, like drowning, and somebody throws you a life preserver. You're still not out of danger, but you're not drowning anymore. And that's exactly what fixing those 3 KPIs does for your pharmacy is it gives you a life preserver. You're not drowning anymore. It may not be where you want to be, may not be as profitable, may not be as cash flowing. You might still be working in there daily. Like that's okay, but you're never going to achieve those other things if you don't get that strong foundation first. So, to all of my new prescribers and even some of my old subscribers, here's a great reminder. You start with the 3 critical KPIs. That's where you begin, right? Like that is the place where truly profit happens because you can't fill your bathtub up with the hole in it, right? Like that's stopping the hole. And so that is where building a truly profitable, continuously profitable, less chaotic pharmacy starts, is getting those 3 KPIs locked in and turned to green. So if you have any questions about those KPIs, feel free to post them in the comments. I'm happy to answer them. I highly recommend you join Pharmacy Badass University if you are a pharmacy owner. We will take you through at the $400 level, which is our essentials membership. You get handheld through that process of getting those KPIs to green. And I kid you not, getting those KPIs to green is worth thousands of dollars a month to your pharmacy. And so it's a good return on your investment. Like I'm happy to earn my place in your wallet. I know there's not much room, so I'm happy to make, to earn my place there. And it is a transformation you wouldn't believe, because it feels, when you're stuck, it feels suffocating, feels a little claustrophobic, right? And when you get to the other side, you're like, now I have a life preserver. Now I can actually think straight and make some good plans. So that's it. That's my, $500 an hour advice to you guys. Start there, start with those 3 KPIs, get those to green, and then move on to other exciting things in your pharmacy. So until next time, guys, adios. Have a great one. Bye-bye.